If you put hot water into a bowl of hot oil, you might have a fire on your hands. I almost did that last night when I was practicing. Hi, I'm Dr. Jourdain with Blue Zone Island. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're gonna make something extra special. It's one of my favorite things. Diri avec Djon Djon, which is black Haitian rice. This is something you probably have not heard of or had unless you are Haitian or you've got some Haitian friends who have let you into the secret of the best rice in the world. Djon Djon is the name of the black edible mushroom that, as far as I know, only grows in Haiti. However, if you know different, leave a comment and let me know. And it is used to make a rice that's used for festive occasions like weddings or holidays or whatever. And it is so delicious. It's really earthy and not really like any other mushroom I've ever had. It's difficult to find it unless you live in Miami or New York where they have Haitian grocery stores. But recently I found it on Etsy, so you can too. Because of social distancing, I'm not able to go to Haitian weddings and gatherings like we used to. So I had to figure out how to make this Djon Djon rice somehow, and my Tati Mundi in Miami virtually taught me how to make it, so I'm gonna share this boon of knowledge with you. Let's get into it. So what we're going to do is make a broth out of the mushroom. You don't actually put the mushroom in the rice, it's the broth that you cook the rice in. I'm turning my heating element to high. I've got 6 cups of water here. It's gonna go right in this pot. In this dish, we're using a ratio of 1 clove of garlic per 1 cup of water. And a lot of times, I don't know how other people attack their garlic, but usually I like to kind of smash it. And I'm gonna just use any hard surface that I have to do that. So I smash it to separate it from the outside skin. This is a pilon. I got this in Haiti, and you use it to smash your garlic, onions, herbs, or whatever to make them one in harmony. You can just as well use a nutribullet, but sometimes I just want to feel earthy, you know? And I'm feeling earthy right now. So I smashed this for a good minute. You can also add your herbs in there and smash it. If you're doing this with a couple of cloves, you can do that. Put a little oil in it, but I'm just smashing the garlic. Now that the water is boiling, I'm gonna go ahead and put in 2 cups of Djon Djon mushrooms. And I'm going to turn this down to simmer. So you don't want to be stingy with your Djon Djon mushroom. And if you don't have a lot of it, you can also use a Vitamix to extract more of what you have and then put it through a sieve of some sort to separate it from the actual flesh of the mushroom. Now that the oil is hot, I'm gonna use maybe 1/4 of this garlic mixture. It's time to put a little bit of the green onions. This is about 1.5 cups of red onions, about half of a red onion. So I'm gonna use some of that too. All right, so you can see these beautiful colors, but what you can't do is you can't smell it. I wish you could. I'm gonna add some green peas in here now. This is about 2 cups. You can do a little more if you like. These are just regular frozen green peas, and if you want to use lima beans or butter beans, you can do that too. So now we've got the green peas sauteing, and this is going to maybe take 3 minutes or so for it to start to go from the perfectly bright, brilliant green to more of an Oscar the Grouch green, but we don't want to get to the Oscar the Grouch color because then you've overcooked them. So Haitian food is a mixture of African, Taino, and French influences that all came together on the island of Hispaniola. And a lot of times you start your dishes with something called épices, which literally means spice, but it's a mixture typically of garlic, different types of onions, green onions, red onions, shallots, things in the allium family, and then herbs. Thyme is a big thing in Haitian cooking. Sometimes rosemary comes in there a little bit, maybe a little sage. Cloves are a huge thing as well. I'm just using the garlic and the onions because I'm doing it like Tati Mundi told me to. So the greenery of the peas is starting to fade a little bit. I think it's done. I'm gonna take it off of the stove, drain it from the oil, and then we're gonna proceed with the next steps. Okay, so I'm gonna put these green peas in a bowl and set them aside. A lot of people don't do this step. They will cook the green peas with the rice, but when you do that, it incorporates extra moisture and makes them mushy. So we're gonna add this after the rice is done and mix it in. So I'm gonna add some more oil, and we are going to develop the flavors again for the broth. That was the red onion. We've got the rest of the green onion. I'm gonna put this little bouquet in here. It's lemon balm thyme, some other kind of thyme, sage, and parsley. I'm gonna this we'll remove before serving it, but just put it in there. Put the rest of the garlic in here too. Djon Djon mushrooms are very valuable, and you want to extract as much goodness as you possibly can from them. So that's why you got to develop this broth as so. So I'm gonna let this hot oil cool before I put this hot water in this bowl, because if you don't, you might have a fire on your hands. Hot water and hot oil do not mix. So I think this is probably cool enough. I'm gonna use this strainer here. I'm gonna put this back on the fire. I'm gonna use this strainer and strain the water of the mushrooms. And then I'm gonna press the juice out. So I'm gonna extract a little bit more of the mushrooms using a nutribullet. So I put a little bit of water, maybe half a cup. Let's blend, blend, blend. Get a little bit more juice out. The pot should be on high because we want it to boil before we add the rice. I think I got everything I can possibly get out of this. Now I'm going to add a bouillon cube. This is a vegan chicken type of bouillon. It's my favorite. It just makes everything taste better. And we're going to add a little cayenne pepper. You don't have to do that if you don't like spicy things, but I think it gives it a nice element of interest. I'm gonna put some salt in here. You want the broth to have a little bit of a saltier flavor. And you'll just have to taste it. Don't go overboard, because you can always add more salt, but you can't take it away. So, and different salts are different, so I can't really tell you exactly how much salt to put, but I think I'm using about 1.5 teaspoons. I want it to have a little bit of a saltier flavor because the rice is going to absorb the flavors and you want it to be balanced. Okay, the water is boiling. You're going to make sure that your rice is washed until the water is clarified to get the starch off. Then we're gonna stick it in the pot. The ratio is 2 cups of broth to 1 cup of rice. So you're gonna let this come to a boil, and then the broth is going to cook down to the level of the rice, and at that point, you put a lid on it. So you can see that the rice is at the point where we're going to cover it because the moisture has evaporated down to the level where the grains are starting to appear. I'm gonna just put the top on, like so. All right, and then in the meantime, we're gonna make this sauce, tomato sauce. And I'm not gonna have a recipe for it, but you can kind of play around with it. All we've got here are some bell peppers, green onions. Make sure that when you do get to this stage where you put the lid on your pot, that you turn your heating element all the way down to simmer. And then look at the clock, give it 20 minutes. and we'll be done. This is tomato paste. I'm gonna put a little bit in there. You wanna make sure that you kind of cook it before you put water in it, otherwise it'll be very acidic. So this takes a minute or two. You wait until it starts getting a deeper browner red, and then you'll add your tomatoes and your water and salt. This has been sauteing for about 2.5 minutes now, and I'm going to add some water and a little bit of salt, starting with the salt. I'm gonna put a little épice in this sauce tomate. You definitely could put this in when you're sauteing everything before you add the water. But if you somehow forget to do that at that step, at that stage, you can do it now. I'm gonna move this sauce forward. It's practically done. And add a little oil to my skillet. So we've got these Jourdain fish fillets that I got at Target, and this is just gonna go in the oil. I'm not gonna do anything special to it. The sauce on top is what's gonna give it the flavor. And traditionally, a lot of times people eat Djon Djon rice with fish. This is fake fish, it's vegan, but it's not gluten-free, so most of the things on my channel are. Just have to give you that disclaimer. A lot of different cultures have their cultural rice dishes. You have paella in Spain, you have jollof rice in Nigeria. They also make it in Ghana and some other African countries. And I have witnessed that there's like a big debate between the different African cultures as far as who has the best jollof. I'm really not being biased. This is my favorite, and I have had a Nigerian tell me that this is the best rice they've ever had in their life. So I'm not gonna say who it is because he might get disowned. He might live in my house. Now we're gonna add these peas back into the pot with the rice. It's all nice and cooked and done. The peas are just such a nice contrast in texture, color, flavor, because they're a little bit sweet. And it makes the Djon Djon complete. So I've also done a little extra preparation with some platanos, simply cut and fried. That's it. I'm gonna add a little salt. We've got the sauce that you saw that I prepared. We have some fish, and I cut up an avocado with a little bit of tomato for the fresh balance. I'm really excited to taste this because I've been smelling it for the last 30-40 minutes, and I know what to expect. It's amazing, it's unique. I cannot describe to you what this tastes like. You gotta try it yourself. Let's see. This is delicious. It's a savory base. You can tell that there's the garlic and the onions and everything in there. But then the mushrooms, the Djon Djon takes it to a whole nother level that I can't really explain it. And then you have these fresh green peas that just pop in your mouth and give you a little bit of sweetness, which balances it out perfectly. You gotta try it. Thank you so much for spending some time with me on this channel. I appreciate all my subscribers, and those of you who enjoyed the content, please remember to subscribe and also follow me on Instagram, which is the best place to keep up with me. And the recipe is below in the description. See you next time in the Blue Zone Island kitchen. Bye-bye.